Hi, I'm Emily. I've got a new story for you. Subscribe to NATALI SHIK and hit like. And yeah, I've always been the tallest girl in school. Sounds kind of special, right? But for me, it was hard. Ever since I was little, I felt different and not always in a good way. This is a story about pain, the laughter behind my back, and how being tall, which once felt like a curse, became my greatest strength. When I was only 7, I was already taller than most of the older kids. I slouched, trying to hide from everyone, but I couldn't escape their stares.
Hey, Emily, how's the weather up there?
Those words pierced me like needles. I knew they were laughing, and I just hunched down even more, as if I wanted to make myself smaller. My height made me feel like an outsider. They laughed, and I just wanted to disappear. There was no place for me. I avoided everyone. During breaks, I sat alone, clutching my book like a shield. It felt like if I stayed silent, the pain would quiet down too. I turned 8. Mom threw a party, and I really wanted to feel happy. But there was Megan, my cousin, who always knew how to hurt me.
You're 8, but you look 15.
She laughed, and I felt something tighten inside. Even on my birthday, I couldn't just be myself.
Don't pay attention, sweetheart. You're beautiful just the way you are.
Mom was always my support. She tried to lift me up, but back then, the pain from others' words overshadowed even her hugs. At school, I always kept to myself, but there was one boy, Jake. He lived next door, and unlike the others, he never laughed at me. I avoided him, just like everyone else. And even when he offered me the kindest words, I pretended not to hear them.
Hi, Emily. Want to sit together during the break?
He tried to be there for me. He reached out when I'd already gotten used to no one ever doing that, but I couldn't accept it. I was afraid even of friendship. I avoided him, just like everyone else. And even when he said the kindest words to me, I pretended not to hear them. And then one day, he disappeared. The school suddenly felt strangely quiet. I hadn't even realized how used I was to seeing him around. When I got home, my mom was on the phone with his mom, and I heard her crying. The police were looking for Jake. He hadn't been home for several days.
Hope they find him soon. Stay strong.
The police went around the houses, asking the neighbors. I pretended it didn't concern me.
I don't know where Jake is.
But inside, I felt empty, because suddenly he was gone. A few days later, they finally found him. But it was no longer the Jake I knew. He was lying in a hospital bed, staring blankly, and he didn't even recognize his own mother.
Jake was found in the mountains. He was walking in the forest and fell off a slope. The locals found him and called an ambulance. The doctors say he had a severe head injury. That's why, unfortunately, he doesn't remember anything.
My heart went cold. Jake had always been a fearless adventurer, but now he was sitting in front of me, lost and helpless like a child. Now he needed me. At that moment, I remembered that he was the only one who had ever been kind to me, and I realized now it was my turn. I couldn't turn away from him anymore. I started visiting him every day. At first, he didn't trust me, as if I were a stranger, but I remembered how he had always been there for me, and I knew now it was my turn to be there for him. We read together, drew, went for walks, and ate treats in the hospital yard. Sometimes he laughed again, like he used to. Occasionally, his eyes seemed to catch a glimpse of memory, but he was still lost in the fog. I always slouched, trying to make myself smaller. Mom noticed it, and one day she said,
"Okay, that's it. I signed you up for a yoga and posture class. You'll love it."
I didn't want to go, but my mom insisted. I came to the first class all slouched, as always. Everyone there walked so straight, like it was the easiest thing in the world. I felt even more out of place. But that's where someone finally noticed me. One of the coaches came up, smiled, and said,
"You should try standing up straight. You have a rare kind of beauty. You're just hiding it."
I was confused. No one had ever seen me like that before.
Try lifting your head and straightening your shoulders. Let the world see you.
Yes, the world will see me differently.
I didn't tell Jake that I was going to the classes, but he noticed on his own that I had changed a little. And as always, he couldn't resist saying something supportive.
You've changed. I don't even know how to say it. You just seem brighter somehow, and I'm honestly really happy for you.
I was invited to try out for a modeling agency. When the day came, I just wanted to run away. It felt like I didn't belong there. I was almost ready to go. But then I saw him. Jake had arrived, and just one look from him made me take a step forward. I took a step, then another. Suddenly, my shoulders didn't feel heavy. I walked straight with my head held high, and the whole room applauded. After the show, people came up to me saying I was special. I stood there confused, as always, but something new was already awakening inside me. I wanted to hide, but then he was there again, and only his words kept me from stepping back.
See, they finally saw what I've always seen. It's your time.
For the first time, I felt my height wasn't a burden. It was my strength. Time passed, and I grew up. Everything started happening so fast I could barely keep up. I was invited to photo shoots, runway shows, magazines, and every time I was afraid I'd wake up and it would all disappear. People no longer laughed at my height. They called me strong, unique. For the first time, I felt I wasn't hiding. I was stepping out to meet the world. Inside, I was still the same girl who used to slouch just to stay unnoticed. But now I knew my height was my pride, and my life would never be the same again. After my success, my classmates had long stopped making fun of the tallest girl in school. Now they admired the very same one looking down at them from the billboard. We were finishing up high school. Jake had become my best friend and my biggest support. I hadn't slouched in a long time, and everyone around me started seeing me in a completely different light. In their eyes, I saw what I used to fear most: admiration. I never believed I'd be able to say this one day. I'm happy, but here it is, the day when everything finally fell into place. The one who stood by me, even when I was hiding from the world, is now waiting for me at the altar. I walked toward him. No slouching, no fear, head held high, straight, because now I knew I was loved just the way I am. My childhood was filled with pain, ridicule, and loneliness, but that's exactly what made me who I am. I'm the tallest girl in school, and the happiest young woman on her wedding day.
I always knew you were special, and loving you is my greatest happiness.
Have you ever believed that true happiness, success, and love could find you, even when you feel different, truly unlike everyone else? Share your thoughts.